The marriage ceremony ended without any problems, and the reception was held inside the cathedral. As the goat demons partied recklessly, Leonard could be seen leaning against a pillar, trying to escape from the noise. Then Gertrude appeared and whispered some kind of report to her. Is that true? Allow me to speak. Aide Cornelia is currently heading towards the sea. I suggest that Lady Erica be contacted as well. Understood. I will tell her. Gertrude, contact the head of ceremony. Security. Prepare for battle. As you wish. I apologize for interrupting your chat. I am in charge of security for the ceremony. Huh? Is it me? Do you want something? I told you were going too far. Champagne tower bowling was always a bad idea. What? Looks like it's time for scolding. Hey, Bear. Hey, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? The reception desk has received an envelope from an unknown sender addressed to Lady Lambda Delta. I always ignore anonymous calls and letters. Just throw it away. But please look at this. What's that? Did you tell anyone you received this? No, only the two sisters at the reception desk and I know. They have already been ordered to keep silent. The instant she saw that envelope, Lambda Delta snatched it away and lowered her voice. Bernkastel had walked away and was apparently making fun of Erica. Bern and of course Erica were both drunk. If they were left alone, they'd probably forget about this. It's true that this envelope had no sender written on it, however the seal done on it in gold leaf fulfills the same purpose. This seal is... Lambda Delta hid behind a pillar, ripped the envelope open, took out its contents and read them. Her eyes instantly started to glint, and she smiled like a kid who has just thought of a nasty trick. What is to be done? The sniper team is carrying red warheads. If you give your permission, I will give the order to load them. What are you talking about? Do you realize how important these guests are? If a stray bullet hits one of these attendants, all the new Cheester sisters will be sent straight from the factory to the guillotine for the next 10 years. Understood. We will intercept with regular warheads. Shall we post watches around the Seven Sisters of Purgatory? Why would we need those? After all, the Seven Stakes are battlers and not Erica's furniture. Why would we post watches around our allies? Just make sure security is nice and tight. Just now, we received a recommendation from Assistant Inquisitor Gertrude suggesting that we make preparations for battle. Her reasons are unknown. From Gertrude? Let's follow that recommendation. A party's more fun once you liven things up. Understood. 00 calling Cheester 70, Cheester 38, Cheester 45, code R. Be on your guards. Transmitting level 2 alert. 17 copy, 38 copy, 45 understood. It'd have been so much cooler if you'd said copy 2 in here. Oh, I just got nervous. Alright. 45, come over here a second. What is it? Hey, we're on the job. Stop, don't play with my ears. Your ears? Better fold them down, yeah? What the hell? What did you say? You're kidding, right? That's impossible. Cornelia is heading there now. The odds of Beatrice attacking here are extremely high. I recommend suspending the reception and evacuating. What's going on, Erica? Something go wrong with her entertainment? No, my master, please continue to enjoy the reception. Hey, somebody, let's get Lady Bernkastel some more dried plum wine. Erica didn't have time to hide her agitation. When Bernkastel saw this, she knew that their final late guest had finally arrived. Lucine, I hear there's been some movement in the guest house. The guest house? Who cares about the game board now? Well, they're saying that Kanon could disappear from the cousin room. What? Are you a moron? The cousin room is a perfect closed room with the door and all the windows perfectly sealed. It's impossible for him to escape. No, I've been snooping about as well. There's no mistake. Kanon has disappeared from the cousin room. He's probably hiding somewhere in the cousin room. Or else he's managed to trick everyone since the beginning and was never in that room to begin with. That's impossible. It's been guaranteed that everyone is in the cousin room except for the specific names Lady Erica read aloud back then. What I don't quite understand is how the game could even continue on the game board when Battler was now married to Erica, so she should now be in possession of the game as well, and doesn't that mean she should now know everything that happens on the game board and be able to control everything? I don't understand how the game could then even continue at all. let alone continue in a way that she doesn't already know of. It's impossible for him to trick his way out of there. How did he get past the Jungfrau seal barrier? No, first off, where on earth is Kanon? Find him at once. At that moment, the cathedral suddenly went black. Uh-oh. The surprised commotion of the guests filled the cathedral. She's here. 00 calling all Cheesters. Code R alert. Cheester 17, can you repair the electrical systems? Negative. Communications with the management staff have been severed. All Cheesters, code red. Rock and roll. Copy. 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 The sniper teams and the chandeliers all released their safeties at once. The entire security team down in the hall loaded their ammunition. Lady Erica, let us evacuate to the waiting room. If a game of chess is suddenly suspended because it looks like you've won, does that mean you have learned all the rules? What do you mean by rules? Or do you mean all the moves that could still be made? It is dangerous here. What's dangerous? I'm the territorial lord of this world. Why should I have to run away in fear? Gertrude, set up a VIP guard barrier. Call Cornelia back here at once. Yes, executing. A barrier? I need to be wrapped in one of your pitiful, pathetic barriers while I'm wearing a wedding dress? How insulting. But you said because it looks like you've won. However, it was mentioned during the ceremony that she has received Battler's ring, which was mentioned that it would mean that she is now the Lord. So that sounds to me like it doesn't look like you've won, but that you have won. I mean, maybe I'm misremembering it. Let's see, this disturbance made even Battler groan as he sat in the next seat over like a doll. Even with his soul sealed, Battler probably realized that something strange was going on. She's late, right, Lambda? Totally. She sure kept us waiting. What was that just now? A love letter from someone? A fan letter from the Lambda-chan fan club. Lambda Delta played dumb and munched some popcorn. Then the lights finally turned on. It was clear that during that blackout, Beatrice had snuck in somewhere nearby, possibly even inside the cathedral itself. The whispering demon attendants all realized it as well. Whose scheme was this, and what were they doing? Though it may have been imprudent, they were looking forward to this, and an excited chatter filled the cathedral. Looks like she came. Gob, they let you come back too? Come on, putting me in a jail is pointless. That's true. True. But Reese, Battle's closed room, the cousin room, and even the final possibility of the next room over have all been sealed. How are you planning to save Battler? Let us suppose that Milady has found some trick X. If so, she would inevitably have to march in here to thrust that in Lady Erica's face. But against all of these Cheester troops? I can't believe this many of them were hiding here. It's impossible. She'll be sewn to death. Rabbit Ears dashed all about the hall. Incredible that she could remain hidden and unnoticed with so many people around. If she can just get close enough to challenge Erica, she should be able to get herself an even fight. I see, that move. However, does Milady have that item with her? She always complains and dislikes it when I prepare them for her. My, she's a troublesome one to the end. Amid the crowd, Renov took something out and showed it. When Virgilia saw, she understood what that in his hand meant. True, with that, it should be possible to stop the attacks from the Cheester troops. Well, if it doesn't work on Erica, we're through. The problem is getting her right in front of Erica, if only for a second. The Cheesters will probably prevent that with all they have. Leah, do you think you can gain her that time? Virgilia gave a small nod. However, the problem was the two Cheester troops standing at her back. Since the time she tried to jump out in front of the procession, she had been marked constantly. It was possible with Virgilia's vast magical power to momentarily take out all the Cheester troops in the cathedral. Wow. That would only gain a short bit of time, but it would be enough to confront Erica. The Cheester troops knew this, so they kept a close eye on Virgilia with tense faces. At that moment, the great cathedral door was blasted to bits. What? The fragments became bright gold butterflies, which danced across the room in a beautiful blizzard of gold leaf. That golden storm slowly faded away. Then, at the entrance to that red carpeted path to the grave, a calm, majestic figure was... "Guards, shoot to kill!" Negative. Conducting identity comparison. Lennar ordered the guards to shoot the intruder right away. But Cheester 00 didn't respond. Was it because she had been warned about shooting the guests and was afraid to the consequences of possibly shooting a drunk guest pulling some sort of prank? No, 00 was just coolly and calmly carrying out her duties. "Oh, what a surprise, and I thought you weren't going to make it." The pair faced each other from either end of the long red carpet. However, in between them stood several dozen Cheester honor guards. Cheester: "Took you quite some time to come here, most honored guest. You had us all quite worried. But I am glad you managed to make it to the reception at least." Is that really the real one? Beato laughed. That chuckle made Butler's eyes quiver slightly. "You..." "Did I keep you waiting, Furudo Erika? I'm here to celebrate." She had an overpowering and evil presence about her, strong enough to make anyone shiver. Was there really any need to confirm her identity now? Who else could possess such an overwhelming presence? "Beatrice! Let us meet again in hell" is a favorite parting line of mine. But... Identity confirmed. It is the great Lady Beatrice. This time it really did happen. Furudo Erika! At that moment, the two Cheester troops standing behind Vigilia slumped over and fell to the floor. Renov had touched the bases of the big ears from behind. It was clear that he had applied some sort of magic. "Someone find a doctor. These girls appear to be ill." "Archie says open fire!" "Beato now!" Just an instant before the Cheester troops could fire, Vigilia raised her arms to the heavens. This is pretty cool. Her magical power, which was more than enough to remind all present what her name had meant at the height of her strength, became a spirit wave that exploded throughout the cathedral. Its shockwave made the stained glass windows shatter and colorful glass shards poured down everywhere. "Spirit particle warfare defenses, hurry on reboot!" However, all of the Cheester honor guards who didn't have spirit particle defenses toppled over like dolls. The ceiling snipers were defended and able to avoid this crash, but it would take several minutes before the system could be rebooted. That span of time should be enough to reach Erika. However, it wouldn't be possible to defeat Erika in just a few minutes. There was no way they'd be able to carry Butler away in that time. What else could they use this precious time for? Beato dashed down the red carpeted path. She ran down the path to the grave, which was lined by Cheester troops lying there like corpses. She had called this place hell. In that case, running from hell to the grave was actually going backwards. Beato's figure dashing through the corpse-ridden path truly symbolized her resurrection. "Milady, take this." "Got it!" As she dashed, she snatched something white from Renault's outstretched hand. There was no longer anyone blocking her path to Erika. However, at that instant, a golden thread came from in front of her and rapidly sewed through the red carpet towards her like a sewing machine. "Ha! We have a meddler!" "Reloading complete. Requesting data, yeah. Firing radar targeted. Data link to 410. 410 was clever. She had predicted that Vigilia would go for a spirit particle attack and had folded her ears and 45s over beforehand. So they were the only ones who weren't taken out. Firing. Once again, the golden sewing thread chased after Beato, weaving like a sewing machine. It was as though an undulating gold snake was shooting after her. "Impudence! You mean to delay my precious showdown with Erika?" Beato jumped sideways away from the red carpet, then dashed across the long table covered with beautiful food. The gold snake chased her, sewing through the pure white tablecloth like a sewing machine and scattering the dishes left and right. The goat attendants ran about wildly, trying to escape. The cathedral was wrapped in pandemonium. "I can't believe some of those rabbits evaded the spirit particle attack and just do another one." "This is bad. If they take up that position, there's nothing we can do." The pair of snipers attacking from the chandelier high above were much further away than Erika was, too far for Beato to reach. Furthermore, their position landed the entire cathedral inside their range of fire. Too bad, yeah, Beatrice-sama. The trials of love are harsh, yeah. 45 new magazine. You mean this? Huh? Gob handed her the magazine. 45 always handed them over backwards, so 410 was a bit confused to have one handed to her the right way up. Huh? Yeah. Let go. No matter how distant a position they might take, it was no problem for the elusive Gob. Gob twisted the long ears up, then tickled them with her thumbs. The Cheester's greatest weapon was also their greatest weakness. The two doubled over with laughter. I got these two, but how many seconds do we have left? The other Cheesters will be reactivating. On the other chandeliers, even more powerful Cheesters were slowly starting to move again. It would be impossible to buy any more time. Ah, Gob, thanks, I'm in your debt. Don't forget to thank these guys too. Beato, good luck, hang in there. You don't have much time. Erika! Beato cut through the crowd of scampering goats like Moses. Her goal was straight in front of her, the place where Erika and Bella were seated. Then a red barrier took form, blocking her path. It was the VIP guarding barrier that Gertrude had set up. She stepped forward and laid out a last line of defense to block Beato's path. Let it be known that you will get no closer. You think a wall like that can stop me? How long until the Cheesters reactivate? Within 30 seconds. As the oldest of the seven sisters of Purgatory, Lucifer stood in waiting behind the bride and groom. She wanted to save Beato. If she could just distract Gertrude for a moment, the wall would disappear. However, the seven sisters were furniture. They served the territory lord, so they couldn't move to help Beato. Glenora glanced over at Lucifer. There was a coercive tinge to her eyes. You are not allowed to move except by the orders of your master. Yeah. Who's our master? It's Erika now, idiot. No, our master is Bella-sama. True, Erika only speaks on his behalf. That's right, One-sama, whose furniture are we? It's just too delicious, let's dig in. The red absolute barrier flickered for just an instant. Beelzebub's stake had pierced Gertrude's shoulder and her concentration had wavered, but it didn't break. Slowly and expressionlessly, Gertrude turned to look at Lucifer. By whose orders? Know that Lady Erika has made no such order. We do have orders. The orders of our master. How can a master who cannot speak give orders? Even though he can't talk, understanding your master's will is furniture's job. Then it cannot be held. The seven stakes shot at Gertrude at once. Gertrude had chosen to take all of those direct attacks, refusing to abandon the barrier until the last moment. Though she was resilient enough to be called a literal Iron Maiden and received no damage at all, it was more than enough to make her flinch and lose control of the barrier. Good word, my furniture. Beato shot through the scattered red fragments of the barrier, and she was finally right in front of the bride, her rival Erika. However, there stood the final shield protecting Erika. Death sentence Glenor. You're too late. Time is already up, Lady Beatrice. Cheester 17 data link to all Cheesters. Incoming data from Archangel Satellite. Homing format verdict model conceptual guidance. It's like the end of an RPG, true. With all like the mini bosses before the final boss. Cheester 20 reactivation complete. Cheester 127 reactivation complete. Time's up. Yeah. No, not there. Please, good luck. Beato. Glenor. Back off, Glenor Anox. This isn't your fight. I have received a red truth denying you from Lady Bancastle. I'm afraid that this will become your grave. I don't know what Bancastle has allowed her to say, however, I don't need to sit around and let that longsword tell me. I'll play with you all you want later, but for now, back off. There's no time. The Cheesters have already finished reactivating. I'm only living on a bit of borrowed time. You will be the one to retreat. You are the pitiable actor who has chosen the wrong time to make an appearance. Lera's red longsword cut a large arc of absolute denial, which headed straight for the crown of Beato's head. However, in that instant there was thunk, and the curve missed slightly. Don't you mean there was a thunk? Beato didn't let this good fortune go to waste. She slipped past the longsword, knocked Lenore aside, and finally stood right in front of Erika, the final boss. This time, not a single person stood in her way. This is popcorn? Where did this come from? Urgent request from the bride's bodyguard team. Let the Cheester Sisters Imperial Guards fire at the intruder immediately. The commotion quieted. However, no one shot. Why? They could have shot if they'd wanted to. Maybe she just stood so close to Erika that shooting her would kill Erika as well. All of the Cheester troops had completely targeted her and removed their safeties. Of course, all of them had finished reactivating. However, they hesitated to pull the trigger. Why aren't they shooting? Let the ceremony guards immediately... Wait, look at that. Lenore's expression grew grim. Then she quietly put her red longsword away. After all, Erika would have to make a decision. If she decided to ignore it, they could shoot to kill. However, if Erika picked that up, they must not do so. So they couldn't pull the trigger until Erika decided. Why won't anyone shoot? What do you mean pick up what? I guess it hasn't said yet. Look closely, see what Beato just threw at Erika? Lambda Delta pointed, still chomping down popcorn. It was hard to see from the balcony. Beato had thrown something like a white handkerchief at Erika. It had fallen to Erika's feet. What was that white thing? She really knows what she's doing, that girl. She knows what it means to be the main character. How interesting. The thing that had hit Erika in the face and fallen to the floor was a white glove that Beato had gotten from her nose. Oh my god. I hope it's not that, Christian. Is it like a dual glove? Hitting someone with a glove like that could only mean one thing. It was... Oh, Zepa, what's this? What does it mean? This is a request for a duel. If she picks up the glove, it means she's accepted. And if she doesn't, the Cheesters will shoot. Why would she pick it up? She doesn't have to. However, we and the demon attendants would probably spread the word far and wide that she dishonorably ran away from a duel. She would be known for eternity as a coward who ran away from a duel of love. Beatrice waited firmly and composedly. If Erika just kicked it away, then at that very instant, the Cheesters would probably all fire at once, turning her into golden embroidery, so Erika didn't have to pick it up. However, she could not afford to be afraid of picking it up. After all, she was the true victor who had defeated Battler's closed room trick and logic. Considering her personality, I don't think she would be willing to not pick it up and accept the shame of, like, it would be too... Not shameful, but like, I'm searching for the right words here, but you know how victorious she wants to be, and that would kind of like be a black spot on her white victory sheet, so to speak, if she doesn't pick it up and also defeat the duel. If she was the victor, she should have nothing to fear, so if she was afraid of doing it, it would prove that she still felt a tinge of doubt about her victory. If I don't pick it up, I can kill you without getting these clothes dirty. That will probably liven up your reception. However, you will pick it up. Oh, and why is that? I've brought a wonderful gift just perfect for you. You want to know what that is. Therefore, you'll pick it up. Not interested, goodbye. You'll pick it up. I know that you want to hear about the closed room I've brought you, which, unlike the trivial guest room of Balor's, is simple, basic, and absolutely cannot be solved. A closed room that absolutely cannot be solved? I know you want to accept my challenge. After all, you are the detective. Erika threw off her wedding dress as though it were a cape. Yes, before she is a bride or a piece or a witch, she is one thing first and foremost. I am the detective. I acknowledge you as my opponent. However, are you qualified to participate in this game? Have you managed to fix the logic error? If you pick that glove up, I will prove that I have fixed it in my fight against you. Gutto desu! The cathedral was filled with chatter. Erika had picked up the glove. A duel, a duel! The cathedral was wrapped in a bizarre excitement. At Erica's nod, Glennar pushed the crowd away, leaving the pair alone. People were permitted to witness this duel, however no one would be allowed to interfere in any way. It's okay, Baylor, son. I've already found a way to save you. How the fuck? I'm going to save you now. Please hang in there just a little longer. Beatrice resolute expression returned, and she grinned boldly, looking down on Erica. There can be no doubt. That's the expression worn only by the Golden Witch. The presence of the master of closed rooms. A shadow dashed through the stormy rose garden. It was incredibly light and swift. The raindrops never touched him. He made no splashes in the countless puddles, his left feet no tracks in the mud. That rushing figure was Connor. Then he ran up the stairs to the entrance of the mansion. He did not slow down in the slightest to open the door. He ran straight at it as though trying to break through and leapt into it. Though the door was shut, even that couldn't stop Connor. He slipped through the door, fell into the entranceway, and slowly stood up. His body wasn't even wet. And as he recalled those nostalgic days spent serving the Shidomiya family, which would never come again, he ran once more. He was heading for Battler's guest room. He ran past the servant room, through the entrance hall, and past the door to the parlor. Then the door to the kitchen and dining hall came into sight. All of it brings back fond memories. There was the honor and rigidity of serving Kinzo directly. However, that man wasn't rigid all the time. When the family was out of sight and he didn't have to preserve that air of majesty, his face could turn unbelievably childish, and he would sometimes ask me to take part in strange pranks. The master let me shoot lots of guns, didn't he? That was pretty fun. Klaushammer was actually surprisingly kind. He must have gotten the impression that the master bullied me a lot. Whenever I was the only one around, he would talk to me in a very familiar way, almost as though he was a classmate of mine. I sort of regret that I held back and never did anything but nod in return. Madame was a really strict person. Ever since some rumor went around saying that she was strict on female servants but soft towards male servants, I get the feeling she viewed me as an enemy. It's unfortunate. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. When I've seen her alone, I've noticed her shoulders sag with the pain many times. There were a lot of servants, weren't there? Some lasted a short while, others stayed a long time. Genji-sama was the one person I might have called my father. I am both grateful and resentful towards him over many things. They all mix together, cancel out, and I end up with a neutral emotion. In that case, Kumasawa-san could probably be called my mother. She's helped me out many times. I've always wanted to repair her someday, and now I've lost that chance for all time. Shannon is my Nei-san. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to be me. Thanks for teaching me that the ocean is blue. Goda? I hate that guy. That is funny. Still, when I complimented the stew, he would sometimes turn red and say that was enough for seconds. I didn't dislike that part of him. But apart from that, fuck him. I wonder why such a strong memory popped up at the instant I ran past the dining hall. And then my memories of Jessica. Oh, it's a boy servant. How old are you? I think those were the first words she spoke to me. Come to think about it, she was probably interested in me ever since then. I really did have enough time to build up a love that wouldn't lose to George-sama and Shannon's. But since I could only see the gray sea, I wasted almost all of that time. What does she like about me? What do I like about her? I get the feeling we never really made that clear. No, she told me. We should have stayed together longer if we eventually find that out. It would have been fine to find reasons for our love later. It took me far too long to realize that. Now I think I can accept it. I know why Shannon won the duel. God must have been watching. You had so much more courage than I did, and God didn't abandon you. I reached the hallway with the guest rooms. There was someone lying on the ground. It was Battler. He was lying just outside the guest room, a chain tied to his neck. He had probably struggled to do something with the chain lock from the outside until he lost consciousness. His fingernails on both hands had been torn off, and they were stained with blood. Oh God. I could tell at a glance just how hard he had tried until the final moment when his heart had died. The collar binding him wouldn't disappear unless the chain lock was set. Battler-sama, it's all right. I'm going to save you now. It was kind of cool, like the whole short flashback in his mind when he ran through the mansion. I like that. Battler responded faintly. He probably hadn't even imagined that help would come to this eternal closed room. He was so scared that this might be an auditory hallucination brought about by a fleeting delusion that he couldn't bear to open his eyes easily. Kanon grabbed Battler by the arms and dragged him into the room. The inside of the room was terrible. The windows had been brutally shattered, and the wind and rain had made its way inside. All kinds of tools and furniture lay broken there. However, Battler hadn't smashed them out of rage. The curtain had been removed, torn, and twisted up into a bundle. He had probably used trial and error to see if that could be used as a rope for some trick. He had tried using everything in the room, exploring all possible options of escape. The traces could be seen throughout the room and even in the bathroom. The empty bathtub was stained with just a bit of blood, and the nippers lay there on the bottom. To protect his tail, he had nearly been prepared to accept Berncastle's brutal method of escape, cutting himself into pieces and washing himself down the drain. He was even willing to tear apart his own body to protect the game that Beato had entrusted him with. He had probably questioned himself over and over in this bathtub, wondering if there was any other way out. By the clock of the game world, not even a single day had passed. However, just how many years has it been in the closed room of the logic era? When faced with an endless span of time, any way of ending it, no matter how cruel, is tempting. However, he had rejected that until the very end. And, even in the last moment when his heart died, he had wanted so much to show his iron will to escape from this closed room that he had chosen to fall here in the corridor with the chain still around his neck. Battler-sama, it's Kanon. Please come to your senses. He wiped Battler's face with a towel wetted in the sink. In response to that cold sensation, Battler's heart slowly started beating again. It's you, Kanon-kun. Yes, it's me, Kanon. You did well to endure until today. Looks like I slept in just a little too much. Battler realized that the feel of the towel on his neck meant that the cursed collar and chain were gone. There's no longer anything binding you here. Come on. Please head back quickly. But if I unset that chain lock, that chain will come back. Don't worry, no longer does any chain exist to bind you, Battler-sama. I will remain here. What did you say? By now, Battler knew the terror of this endless closed room better than anyone else, so he was more filled with shock than happiness, shock at the determination of the one who was willing to become the new prisoner. I will be fine. There's no need to worry. But, Battler-sama, isn't there still something you have to do? But would he even be a prisoner now? Because, I mean, once they switch places, it should not be a closed room anymore for Kanon? Because then it becomes possible that Battler went outside, and it shouldn't be... I mean, he still has to stay in there until... until the rest of the tale is resolved, I guess, or until Erika comes back and checks again and then finds it. I don't know. Go back quickly. There's someone fighting in your place. And there's someone awaiting your return. What I mean is Battler was... it was said that Battler would be, like, imprisoned in this hell-like room forever because he couldn't solve his logic error, but now, if there was a way for Kanon to switch places with him, the logic error would not be there anymore, so I don't see why it should still be an endless torture room for Kanon now. I mean, it made it sound like it would be one for Kanon now, but I don't know. There's someone fighting in your place, and there's someone awaiting your return. Will you not go back? His stern words and gaze shot straight through Battler. Are you sure? Yes, that will be fine. This way I can repay my debt from back then. Ted, do you owe me something? You aren't the one I owe, Battler-sama. It's okay, so go. I don't like being indebted to others. Go quickly. You must not keep her waiting now. So hurry. Battler couldn't argue back anymore. He silently bowed his head, unset the chain, and opened the door. Kanon had remained in the room, so no chain appeared about Battler's neck. He could leave this closed room just by running out. The happy-sounding voices that he had heard at the far end of the corridor had been replaced with an excited chatter. There must have been some sort of strange disturbance going on. As Kanon went out into the corridor to see me off, the merciless collar and chain had already captured their new prisoner. He would remain inside this endless closed room in Battler's place. But why? I don't quite get why. Kanon-kun, I feel the same. About what? I don't like keeping debts. I'll definitely repay you, and I'll do it soon. I hope I can count on that. Go on, run. Run to the one you love, and please never get lost again. Battler didn't turn back again. He ran with everything he had. He ran out into the corridor whose warmth he had cursed so many times. That cursed chain no longer bound him. He ran to the very end of the corridor. Beyond the light. Kanon, still connected to the chain, watched him go, then quietly returned to the guest room. Now he only had to worry about his own job, stay in this room, and fix the error in logic. Now, I set the chain lock. As soon as he said it, the chain disappeared from his neck. Then if he hid in the one place Erika hadn't checked, the broken logic would be fixed. Oh, see, that's what I meant. It made it sound like he would remain there forever, but I thought he should just go into the closet and fix the error. The closet door opened slowly. It was well oiled and opened without a sound. It was cramped inside and dark. This tiny space is the last place I'll see. As long as I remain hidden here, the logic will be preserved. That's an easy job. Easier than caring for the roses. Kanon went in it and closed the double doors from the inside. As soon as he did, a single small gold butterfly appeared, melted into the darkness of the closet and vanished. It was a sign that the logic had been fixed. The witch's game had already stopped, and the clock of the world of pieces would never tick again, but I guess he's gonna be dead in there now. So for all eternity, no one would come to save him from this place. It's okay. The witch's game had already stopped. But then how could they still move in? I have paid back my debt, Beatrice. The power of the gold butterfly brooch taught me about love. In the third game, it gave me some quiet time alone with Jessica. I get the feeling it did many other small things for me. At any rate, I've paid back all of my debts now. Now all of my debts are... That music tape Jessica lent me. I never gave that back, did I? That's okay, isn't it, Jessica? I like that one. Can I accept that as a present? You want me to dub over it and hand it back? Slowly, Kanon's body began to melt into a cloud of gold butterflies. And after the inside of the cramped dark closet glittered like a golden planetarium. It faded away like the light of fireflies and was painted over by a pitch blackness for all eternity. In the cathedral, the goat attendants were all jostling around either side of the red carpet. On the red carpet, standing across from each other, were Beato and Erika. In their hands were the pistols given to them by Zepa and Furufuru. Flintlocks, are they? How old-fashioned. Paid no mind. Demons are very particular about style. Its form was similar to an actual old-fashioned gun, but this was of course a demon's gun. This wasn't a gun that would propel a lead bullet with an explosion caused by gunpowder, like the pistols used in the duel between Shannon and Kanon, whose bullets had contained a magic that would always kill. These pistols also had bullets that were not made of lead. Beato, there's no need to worry. She'll win easily, and you'll have to deal with her insults again, Leah. When this match is over, we should ask to be paid every now and then. After the fight ends, perhaps the occasional trip down to the Caribbean will be satisfactory. Enough talk about when the fight is over. That's an ill omen before a duel. Beato, take this seriously. This is no time to be standing around laughing. Wise reads, relax and Leah Tains, come on. Beatrice-sama, you can do it. Beatrice-sama is at a disadvantage in this duel. Why? Normally, witches are able to use strength and numbers to achieve victory. However, since the game has been suspended, she has nothing on her side except the riddle of Battler-sama's guest room. If Erika can just strike a bull wedge through that one riddle, it would mean she's solved everything. They can win. I believe in Beatrice-sama and Battler-sama, our two masters. Did you call me? Thanks. For once, it feels as though our chances of winning are 50-50, so I'd like to thank you beforehand. It is simply my job. There's no need to thank me. In the last game, when you protected me after I lost pathetically, I was happy. That was the first time in my life that anyone has ever protected me. Even my master has never done so. All she has given me is a way to cancel out my pain by exposing the truth of others, so that everyone ends up hurting each other. Please forgive my arrogance. I felt that I needed to protect you. When I realized what a frail truth you live by, when I saw you being tormented by the tyranny of a mixture of truth and lies that seemed more plausible, I wanted to protect you. Thank you. It wasn't for long, but you were a wonderful partner. And will remain so. You were right. Once we've defeated her, let's make tons of mysteries on this island together. I'll have you solve them and tease you as we play. How does that sound? I like it. I look forward to your challenge. Sorry, that's a lie. I take it back. That'd be one of those loser flags, wouldn't it? Now are you ready, duelists? When the two demons clapped their hands, the duelists instantly returned to their bold, tense smiles. The bullets within those magic guns are not lead. They are bullets of red and blue truth for the battle between mystery and fantasy. As long as you possess truth, your bullets are endless. However, being hit by a single one means instant death. Are you both prepared? Certainly. Of course. Lady Lamberta, O great and powerful witch of certainty and member of the glorious Senate, please come forward. Will you swear to oversee this duel? Of course. I swear it. The crowd split and Lambda walked forward with Baroncaster by her side. She looked between the faces of the two duelists. Then she took out an envelope with the seal of the one-winged eagle and lifted it high. Beatrice has sent me her revisions to the tale inside a sealed envelope. After inspecting it, I find its contents to be valid. I proclaim that the logic error has been avoided. The chain lock is still set, and without any contradictions with any red truth made up to this point. The many goat attendants knew the details of Battler's closed room. They realized how difficult it was, and though fiery debates had swept across the crowd during the reception, none had been able to find an answer, and now it was clear that Beatrice had already reached one. Therefore, this duel is legitimate. It will center around one single point, the closed room of Battler's guest room. Battler disappeared from within the closed room sealed by a chain lock. Therefore, Erica has been armed with the blue truth. Beatrice has been armed with the red truth to counter back. The duel will continue until one side is victorious. Splendid. Perfect. Good to desu. Okay, well then, Beato, present your new revised tale and riddle to Erica. Kanon used magic to escape from the cousin room without breaking the seals. He reached the guest room and used magic to let Battler escape from that closed room. What a foolish tale. Very well. Erica, is there anything you wish to confirm? Repeat it. The one who rescued Battler was without a doubt Kanon. Very well. The one who rescued Battler was without a doubt Kanon. Repeat it. Battler and Kanon are different people. I'll say it. Battler and Kanon are different people. That's enough. Erica, are you done confirming things? That was all I needed. I've already decided how to fight. Okay. Let both sides load their bullets. Erica turned around, pressed her finger against the barrel of a pistol, made her blue truth into a bullet, and pushed it in. There was no rule saying that she had to turn away, but she didn't want her expression to be read. Or it might have been because she couldn't stand the tension of looking at Beato's bold smile. Beato had already finished loading her red truth. She waited for Erica to finish while calmly puffing on her pipe. She's slowly getting back into her badass character, I see. Then she looked at Battler, who sat on the throne of the Territory Lord, right next to the two witches who were here as witnesses. Battler's consciousness was still hazy. However, he apparently understood that Beato had come to duel for his sake, so that he could be saved. It was all he could do to just look at Beato with those sluggish eyes, but a flood of emotions passed between them. There was no need for words. A look was enough for them now. Erica closed her eyes tightly, her fingers still up against the barrel. At that moment, her stunning powers of concentration made all the distractions of the outside world disappear. Good though. It's always been like this, but my concentration really is good, though. Are you ready, me, Furodo Erika? First, let's lay out the situation. Battler disappeared from that closed room. The chain lock is set. Did he disappear by magic? Of course not. There has to be a trick. Kanon didn't save him with magic. He just came, took Battler's place, and set the chain. Everyone knows that much. The problem's the next step. No, it's actually the step before that one. Kanon was in the cousin room in the guest house. That room was completely sealed with packing tape, and it's been proven that the seal was intact until the time of the logic error. In other words, Kanon escaped from the closed room that was absolute, with no chance for excuses or twisted logic. Good, though. This is why she called it the simple yet ultimate closed room. How did he escape from the perfect closed room, known as the cousin room? If I got stuck thinking only about that question, I'd be no better than your average kid detective. That room is a perfect closed room, so there is no way to escape. In other words, trying to think of ways to escape from there is a waste of time. The real question is how Kanon was somewhere outside the cousin room when it was sealed. The cousin room is a completely sealed can. If he was in there when it was sealed, then it's already game over. In other words, at the time the cousin room was sealed, he wasn't inside it anymore. Let's look at the time I checked everyone's locations and sealed the rooms. That's the most suspicious part. At that time, we have the 5 people in the next room over, whom I confirmed with my own eyes. Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo. I mentioned the names of those 5 people during location check and confirmed that they were in the next room over. Then I checked to see whether everyone else was in the cousin room, and had that confirmed for me as well. I said everyone else, so whether he was Kanon or Yoshia or even Puru Biko Man, they all should have been sealed in the cousin room. It seems perfect at a glance. However, though that phrase "everyone else" seems perfect, it's fishy. Strictly speaking, everyone else refers to all humans whose names I did not mention directly. In other words, there are exceptions. How does that wait, huh? Okay, everyone else refers to all humans whose names I did not mention directly. For example, it's been confirmed that Hideyoshi and George were in the next room over, so humans with the name Hideyoshi or George don't need to be inside the cousin room. It seems that Kanon told Jessica that his real name was Yoshia, but that was no real truth. In other words, what if Kanon's real name is the same as one of those in the next room over? They seem to be about the same age, so let's use George. So what if there were 2 Georges in that room? That doesn't violate the red truth, saying that Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nando are in the next room over. Let's say that Kanon's real name was Tanaka George. Well, that would be a super weird name. Both Ushiromiya George and Tanaka George could exist in that room at the same time. In other words, there were 6 humans with 5 names. It looked to my eyes as though there were only 5 people in the next room over, but a 6th person, Kanon, was hiding somewhere. I don't have the detective authority, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to fool my eyes and hide. I see the double name trick. Stupid, so stupid. Alright, I've made my logic. Kanon, who was hiding in the next room over, not the cousin room, left by the window after the seals were placed. The gun had fired, and the tip of my finger was stained with blood. The Blue Truth gunpowder had exploded. Damn it. I've already had Leonard seal that one. Blue Truth arguing about the window of the next room over is forbidden, so I can't use it. Okay. Because she said that. Oh, an accidental discharge? Careful now, guns can be dangerous. Shut up. It's just a little mistake. The window of the next room over. You sealed it with some absurd trick, right? Gav told me. Is that so? And so what? Leonard, remove that foolish seal. That seal has become your shackles. Beata has figured out everything I've been thinking, and she's acting so confident, telling me to go ahead and use that argument. Lady Erika, please remove it. That fool. I'll make her regret this. It seems you are ready, duelists. Please face each other with your pistols. Then fire with the sparks of truth. After facing away and readying herself one last time, Erika spun around. Beata had been facing her since the beginning. Pretty cool. She wore a confident, challenging smile as if she'd been kept waiting. Then, without any signal, the two slowly raised their guns, pointing the red and blue glints that hid within their barrels at each other. Come, I could do with a little fun. Begin. First is how Kanon escaped from the cousin room. I'll use that as my bullet. Oh, so you'll start from there. Let's have it. Hold nothing back. Here we go. After holding the gun high and pointing it at Beato once more, Erika pulled the trigger with statements of red and blue truth. The cousin room is guaranteed to be a perfect closed room until the end, so if Kanon really was in this room, it would be impossible for him to escape. In other words, Kanon was not in that room at the time it was sealed. The name Kanon is an alias. His real name is still unknown. If his real name happens to be the same as anyone in the next room over, that wouldn't contradict the check on who was in that room. In other words, it's possible for him to be in the next room over, not the cousin room. The goat attendants chattered and clapped their hands, thinking, yes, such a move would work. Oh, I love watching this. I love being surrounded by this chatter. After all, I am the detective. It is true that the next room over was sealed, but at the time of the logic era, only the doors were checked to see whether the seals were preserved. Therefore, there is a chance that the window seals were broken, Kanon was in the next room over and escaped through that window. That is all. Any other theory would be impossible. If this doesn't work, then there's no truth left.